And so let's talk about the new upcoming mid-month banner. In this case, ARRANCAR Crown summons Duty of Defense. And in this case, we are getting out the Before You Summon video a tad bit earlier. The banner itself is scheduled to drop in like 35-ish hours as of me uploading or at least recording this video. We are doing it a tad bit early because tomorrow we are getting an update and we're going to spend tomorrow talking about that update. So let's just get this out of the way. Now, in my opinion, this is a easy skip as most mid-month banners are. Again, it is a premium banner too, so you most likely should be saving your ores for the end of month banner, which is most likely now going to be 1,000 Year Blood War. Because I didn't realize it at the time, the end of month banner for January did feature White Day characters, basically telling us that White Day was never going to be a thing this year. So now that basically means that end of month is going to be either dedicated to a premium banner or 1,000 Year Blood War. I feel like 1,000 Year Blood War is the most likely outcome, so if you are someone that potentially wants to get BG9 and Soifon, because they have the highest chance of being in that next banner, not guaranteed, but just something to keep in mind, you might want to save also them, right? Disregard whatever I'm going to say about this banner. One thing I will say though, because this banner doesn't get individuals, mid-months don't get that anymore because they get the good step-up format. The banner itself is here until the 31st. So like if you're really tempted to summon on this banner, it doesn't hurt you just to wait a couple days. Almost wait a week or two because the end of month banner will get announced on the 28th and this banner will still be here. So even if you're tempted to go to step 3, do the 2 discounts, I would probably say wait until we see what end of month is going to be. With that said though, this banner is actually surprisingly good. You know, since it is a mid-month, it does have the good step-up format, but for the most part, we are talking about mid-month characters, but Halibel and also Wonderwise are almost end-of-month characters. Like, they definitely can be compared to end-of-month characters. And to a certain extent, this banner unironically has more value than our most recent end-of-month banner, which was 1,000 Year Blood War. And again, it mainly comes from the 2 characters here, right? Halibel is the go-to super elixir farmer. She's really, really good, giving you plus 10 super elixir potions, but finally we got someone to the likes of Tensor in the technique attribute. Wonderwise is just a guild quest character that might have a unique use in Brave battles, but he's going to have more of an impact on his team because his team doesn't have the greatest set of normal attack damage characters. And then the fillers themselves, I mean, you know, compared to the 1,000 Year Blood War fillers, these definitely are a lot more usable. So if anything, at most, if you have spare orbs, let's say you haven't pulled on any banner in the last like 3 or so months, because let's be honest, a lot of banners have been skippable, maybe just do step 3. Remember, this is a crown step-up format, so step 1 and 2 are discounted, then step 3 is a guaranteed 5-star. You might luck out. In fact, because I haven't pulled in quite some time, I might just go to step 3 just to get the guaranteed 5-star and see what I get. I'm not going to go any further than that because remember, this step-up format is designed for you just to keep going, because once you do step 3, well then you're like, okay, the next 2 steps are discounted, and then you do those 2 steps, and then you're like, oh, well, next step is a guaranteed 5-star, and then you have 2 more discounts. It's a very smart banner, but it does bait you into spending your orbs very quickly. So before you even decide to summon on this banner, if you even are, I mean, decide right from the get-go what step you're going to stop at, because otherwise you're just going to keep going. Remember though, step 10 and 20, if you do go that far, which again, I don't recommend going that deep unless you're a massive Halibel fan, they do guarantee you a new character, so one of the 3 new characters. In this case, Halibel, Wonderwise, or Shaolong. With that said though, let's actually have a look at the 3 new characters. So the main reason why you would want to summon on this banner is Halibel. Not only is Halibel finally getting a new character, she really is end of month worthy. Besides the fact that they did do her tad bit dirty on her killer effect, that being squad 0, it means she's never gonna have killer, and to be fair, her killer is only useful in guild quests, and even having said that, she's not a character you want to use in guild quests, so they definitely held her back a tad bit because she is a mid-month character. But what we have seen with other characters like Tensor and Getu, for example, who has a very similar damage output, killer doesn't matter that much, at least when you have the good set of skills. In her case, in terms of damage output, she has Frenzy +1, she has a 60% Berserker, and then she does 100% more damage to enemies not deflected by an element. That's what you want to see in a link shot super link shot farmer like this Halibel. She does go through Iron Skin, she has Guard Brave, she can hit hidden enemies, and she was also given Havoc. So when it comes to the current super elixir farmers that we have access to, Halibel is by far going to be the best character for farming super elixir potions. And what I really like about her is that she was given the +5 super speed elixir potion soul traits. So even if you don't want to use this character and you want to continue to use Uryu, you want to continue to use Gin, you can do that and make them +10 farmers. At the same time, if you want to put on Ichibe, Safui Toshiro, any of your favorite technique characters, they can now become super elixir farmers due to this soul trait. But additionally, what I also do like is that they didn't just tie her down to only being a link as we see with other characters like this, because even if you do decide to use her, you're not being punished because one, she's going to clear faster, but she herself also does give 5 more super speed elixir potions and also 5 speed elixir potions. So she's a +10 farmer, she has the same potential clear speed as someone like Tensor, Kaku, Rangiku, Sanjumaru. So that, in my opinion, makes it almost a must-have, because the other characters I personally don't like using when it comes to farming, and she would definitely be my go-to farmer, even though I've already linked her to all my characters. If I get her, I would definitely use her. In terms of a strong attack kit, she definitely has a weird one. Her SA1 is the first time we are seeing this on an SP character. It was traditionally a strong attack 3. It is a range collision attack, but it does have a lot of whiff to it, and it can hit quite a few times. So the SA1 honestly shouldn't be that bad. Her SA2 is a beam forward, so her kit is very linear, and then her SA3 is a full screen. In my opinion, Halibel is going down as one of the best technique characters in the game, the best technique farmer, and the fact that she's given +10 makes it even better. And it's quite commendable given the fact that this is a mid-month character, a premium mid-month character. Moving on to our next character, Wonderwise. He is going to be your guild quest character, in this case for the melee no affiliation guild quest. If you do need that extra support or want to clear faster, let's say you want to beat the nightmare difficulty whenever it does come back, Wonderwise is going to be a great character for this. Not only is he immune to fire duration, he has a very high damage output that rivals an end of month character, again like Toshiro. In his case, he does have Flurry +2, only in guild quest, otherwise it's Flurry +1, but he does have a 40% bruiser, a 20% additional normal attack damage buff, which he does give to any Minds character, and then he also does have a 30% normal attack damage soul traits. In combination with that, he also does have melee damage, which gets further increased in guild quest, and also more killer effect. So damage output here is really high. Now, he does come with some extra benefits in case you for some reason want to use him outside of guild quest. For example, he has guard break. He also surprisingly has follow-up. That's very rarely ever seen in NAD characters like this. So that might make him a fun character just to, farm point events. Maybe taking me to Senka mode, for example. But to a certain extent, he might be a good character in Brave Battles to mainly counter Yuha, and that would realistically be his only use here. But he does have 2 damage taken skills in his kit, which is very rare to see actually. He has damage taken -16%, and he also does decrease no affiliation damage taken, so he's going to be quite the tanky character when up against no affiliation enemies. This still though won't allow him to auto, co-op IT. In GQ you don't want to take damage anyway, but in Brave Battles that's the only place these 2 skills will actually be good at, just for him to tank and be a counter to Yuha, especially given that he has kill on and Yuha won't. Keep in mind though that, Yamamoto does exist anyway. You're better off still using him. Wonderwise really is only a character you want to put against Yuha, but if you have him and you are a Wonderwise fan, you can unironically get a use out of him in Brave Battles. I wouldn't recommend everyone do that, but it's just something worth mentioning in case you want to do that. For the most part, though, he is a guild quest character for the melee no affiliation guild quest, and he's going to be really good at that. Currently, he is the best damage dealer for that particular week. Pair him with someone like Safui Soifon and also Yuha Bak. You're going to make a very powerful team. And then the last character to talk about is Shaolong. In this case, the forgettable character of the banner doesn't really offer much on your account. Not that he's bad or anything, he's just kind of there. Like, he's a good character, he has a good damage output, but he doesn't excel in any particular piece of content, so if you do pull him, you're probably not going to use him. For starters, though, he does have a Squad 0 killer, so I guess you would like to use him in the ranged Squad 0 guild quest, but he's not going to compete or be better than someone like Macy. In terms of damage output, he has Frenzy +1, a 60% Berserker, 20% more strong attack damage that you can give to your heart characters, an additional 20% more damage when you are at full stamina. His soul trait is an additional 40% strong attack damage when you are at full stamina, and then he also does do 60% more damage to lacerated enemies, and keep in mind he does have an increased chance to inflict stat ailments against mind attribute enemies. So a lot of damage buffs here. Like, this character essentially has like a 200% Berserker with Frenzy +1, with an increased chance to inflict lacerate, does more damage to lacerate enemies. His strong attacks aren't even that bad. Like, it's not like the worst character. It's just that, again, he doesn't really excel in anywhere. I guess you could use him in IT, but he's not a Lynx or farmer. I guess he would be a decent lead in guild quest if you do lack someone like Macy, but I feel like the people that will get a use out of him are very small. So overall, I guess Shaolong is just an okay character, just kind of there. If you pull him, it's more so just new orbs. Maybe a good soul trait. Quickly going through the fillers though, Noritora is a ranged ARRANCAR killer, only wants to be used in the ranged ARRANCAR guild quest, good character for that particular week. Zarapro is a character that wants to inflict lacerate and also burn, does have a human killer, doesn't really have the greatest set of strong attacks, not really that good of a character despite being an end of month character himself. Only place you can really get a use out of him is in guild quest, but it does require to be quite duped out, and that's really about it. Neliel is a super Lynx farmer for the power attribute, still my go-to super Lynx farmer for this attribute. Really good character overall, has has been quite useful in Limit Breaker 2. Definitely a good character to have in this filler selection. Ilful is just a linked off armor. The more Arrancars that are in his lobby, the more damage he does. So it is quite good to have in epic raids. That's really about it. Mayuri is overall just a strong end of month character. Is over a year old at this point, though. Keep that in mind. Does actually buff Mind Sorpus damage by a good amount, so he's actually a good character for just GQ support. But I guess the main use you can get out of him is to be a pretty good lead, potentially, in the Espada Guild Quest. And then Juice Straw is kind of just there. Once more, can be used in Guild Quest. I believe the Squad 0 Guild Quest, but definitely not a great character by any means. So ultimately, whether you want to summon on this banner comes down to you. I wouldn't recommend going past step 3. I think, unironically, this isn't a bad banner. It's a mid-month banner and it's a premium banner. It doesn't hurt you to skip it. You can always get these characters later on. Keep that in mind. And I would actually more so recommend that. But I do know for me, on multiple my accounts, I'm going to go to step 3 just to go to the guarantee because it's been a while since I pulled. And I also do want to try and get Halibel once on one of my accounts. If I get Wonderwise, that definitely wouldn't be a bad pull because he will be useful in Guild Quests. But ultimately, the main reason why I will be pulling is for Halibel because she is that super links of armor that I've been desperately waiting for. Remember, the banner itself isn't going anywhere. It will be here until the 31st. So if you do want to wait, and I would actually more so recommend waiting, wait to see what end of month is going to be because it's most likely going to be 1,000 Year Blood War. But then remember, right, last end of month 1,000 Year Blood War wasn't all that either since, you know, one of them was a Naz character. So just because it is 1,000 Year Blood War, it might not be guaranteed worth summoning on. So as always, pull for your favorite characters, pull for what you need. And if you want Halibel, if you for some reason want Wonderwise or Shaolong, if you need that super links of armor, maybe it's worth just throwing a few steps in this banner, but that ultimately comes down to you. Again, I myself will be doing 3 steps. And with that said, I kind of rambled on long enough considering that this is a mid-month banner, but I do think it's a good one. It's definitely our best mid-month banner of the year. It's kind of crazy to think that this banner came out a whole month after the last mid-month banner. Like, they're almost crazy power creep differences apart. Like, that last mid-month banner was terrible. And then now we have this, which is a lot better. To a certain extent, 2 end of month characters have just been put into a mid-month banner. Either way, though, hope you liked and enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care and peace.